Today, we're diving into a topic that's incredibly personal, deeply human, and, let's be honest, often painfully misunderstood. We're going to be looking at this through the lens of a really powerful personal appeal, one that asks all of us to look past the labels and just see the person standing there. It so often starts with something that seems small. A phrase like this, a little jab. It sounds like a question, but it's not, is it? It's a judgment. It's that casual little comment that members of the LGBTQ plus community hear all the time. But what happens when that casual little comment isn't so casual anymore? To really understand the real-world impact of this intolerance, we have to talk about the human cost. And I don't think any story shows this more powerfully or more tragically than the story of Sarah Higazi. So Sarah's story takes this incredibly dark turn when she's just 30 years old. She was arrested. And we're not talking about some violent crime here or a threat to anyone. No, it was for something much, much simpler than that. Her crime, and I'm putting that in massive air quotes, was this. She waved a rainbow flag at a concert. That's it. A simple act of solidarity, of just being who she was. And for that, she was treated like a criminal. And for that simple act, the punishment was absolutely monstrous. She was thrown in jail. She was tortured. She was raped. Just a horrific, brutal response to an expression of identity. After she was released, the trauma, it was just too much to carry. Sarah fell into a deep, deep depression that she just couldn't escape from. And tragically, she took her own life. The abuse she suffered for being a lesbian, it directly led to her death. A story like Sarah's, it just forces you to stop and ask a really basic question. Who actually gets to decide what's normal, and who decides when being different crosses some imaginary line and becomes a crime? And this is where the injustice of it all just hits you like a ton of bricks. You look at this, and on one side you have Sarah, the victim, punished for who she was. And on the other side, her abusers, the ones who committed these horrific acts. They were considered normal. They walked free. Zero consequences. And this gets to a really crucial point. Normal isn't some fixed scientific fact. It's a social idea. It's basically just what the majority agrees on. And the danger is, when that power isn't checked, it can be used to persecute absolutely anyone who doesn't fit into a really narrow little box. Okay, so this leads us right into our next section. The source material we're looking at, it doesn't just want us to observe from a distance. Nope, it challenges us directly with a pretty powerful thought experiment. Think of it as an empathy test. So I want you to really genuinely think about this for a second. If you're a straight man, imagine society forcing you to marry another man. If you're a straight woman, imagine being forced to marry another woman, and not just marry them, but build a whole life with them. How would that actually feel, day after day after day? Well, the source suggests it would be nothing short of a living nightmare. You'd be in this state of constant mental pain, feeling totally and utterly trapped. It would lead to crushing depression. And why? Well, because you would be fundamentally unable to live as your true, authentic self. Now, that anguish you're imagining, that is the daily reality for so many gay and lesbian people who are pressured to be someone they're not. Now, this isn't a universally bleak picture. The source points to a really fascinating and pretty conflicted situation, looking specifically at India, where you kind of have two very different realities existing at the same exact time. So, on one side, you have this incredible glimmer of hope. We're seeing more and more stories of families in India who are not just accepting their children, they're celebrating them. They're throwing these beautiful, joyful weddings for same-sex couples with all the tradition and color and music. It's this powerful statement that, for them, love is just love, period. But, and this is a big but, on the flip side is a much, much harsher reality. For every family that's celebrating, there are so many more who are rejecting their own kids. The source describes this life of just constant bullying and mocking, not just from strangers, but from friends, from colleagues. And this has real-world consequences. We're talking about talented people who can't get jobs or promotions. It's an entire generation of potential just being wasted, all because of intolerance. So why? What's the motivation for this cruelty? Well, the source gives us pretty chilling insight. It says that for some people, bullying others, making a spectacle of them, it gives them this weird, twisted sense of satisfaction, of peace. It's like they feel better about themselves by putting someone else down. And all of this brings us to our final section, and really the ultimate choice. Because the legal battlegrounds have shifted, but the most important battle might be in the court of public opinion. And here's the crucial fact you need to know. In India, the government has already acted. The law is changed. Homosexuality is no longer a crime there. The state has officially said that loving someone is not a punishable offense. And so, we end here. The source leaves us with a direct challenge. It asks, were the lawmakers who passed this act foolish? Now that the law has taken a step forward, The final question really isn't for politicians or judges anymore. It's for every single one of us. What is your stance?